Yo, we're about to do Friday Night Vigil, going live on YouTube right now. Link is in the bio, let's go. Go to my bio right now, click the link, head over to the YouTube. We about to go live. Head on over to the YouTube right now. It's Vigil time, you done know. Big up Stunner. It's Vigil time. The internet's late night show over on my YouTube channel right now. Head on over, the link is in the bio. Head on over for the internet's late night show on my YouTube channel, about to go live right now. We're talking topics, you can call in. Shout out to Toby Allen, I see you already in the dance. I see you already, bro. Hey, to everybody on Instagram, we're going live on YouTube right now. Let's go. Hey, head on over to the YouTube right now. If you're on Instagram, about to go live on YouTube, so click the link in my bio. Shout out to everybody joining in the live right now. Are you ready? Hey.
Yeah. Is it alright if we kick back? Yeah. Is it alright if we lay back? Tell me if you got time, we can take that, lay back. Or we can take two, spend more time while we're exchanging truths. I know there ain't time, I know it don't exist. Can we exist in sync, be mature and resist? Nah, really sweetie, I only speak truth. They call me Miss More time cause it's true. I miss the old days, I miss the old me. I miss not missing anything, that's the key. Let it all flow, let it all fly.
Shout out to everybody already on the YouTube. Say hello to me in the comments real quick.
Sometimes I feel lost in this mission called life. Yeah. And I know sometimes I ain't living right, but it's alright. It's alright. Sometimes I've gotta lay back. Sometimes I've gotta lay back. Sometimes I've gotta lay.
Some days I gotta lay back, kick back and sit back with my hair all back. And I don't care if it's nappy plaits. I'm a nappy queen, damn bad, real bad. Nubian queen, this Nubian sings. La 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 la, all day with my king. But we still find time to hunt in the forest. Clothed in nothing but at least dishonest. Who can say that? They vow to be true. This is real, being real's what we do. I do this, even when it's ugly. And yeah, sometimes it's ugly, sometimes I'm weird. Sometimes I wanna shut it out and not care. And sometimes I wanna disappear. And sometimes I wish I could appear on a cloud. And sometimes I wish I weren't around and yo.
Shout out to Mummy's Muse, I see you.
In this mission called life.
Thank you for rocking me on this little Friday night vigil.
No, sometimes I ain't,
The internet's late night show.
but it's alright. It's alright. Sometimes I've gotta lay back. Sometimes I've gotta lay back. Sometimes I've gotta lay back.
Hey, 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 we're back again. We managed to turn all the lights on. We managed to do the camera. We managed to do vibes. I promised you guys every week I'm going to try and improve at least one thing on the show. This week, I have done 1.5. I improved how the Zoom call page looks. Slightly. It still looks very much like last week. But I've added another angle. So every time I want to check out for a little bit, give you guys a little intermission. So you're going to see this shot right here. I hope you're impressed, because I'm very impressed myself. I got the GoPro out. I got the long lead. I got HD capture card. And now we've got a second angle. Let's go. Shout out to Michael Adama. I see you. Good to see you too, bro. It's a great vibe to end the day, begin the weekend. I like that. I like that, man. Trying to give you lots some Friday night vibes. If you're still on the Instagram, head over to the YouTube right now. That's where it's popping off. So today we're going to get into some topics. I want to get some call-ins. I want to see some faces. I want to hear some opinions. Let's get into it. First things first. Coming to America with the number 2. Coming to America 2. I don't even know what to call it. Can I just say that for one thing, Coming to America, the original, is my favorite movie of all time. So you understand the precarious position I'm in when it comes to this sequel. Thank you, Mummy's Muse. I appreciate you appreciating my my Kaizen approach to doing this show. I have all these plans, but what I'm not going to do is try and do all of them in one go and not do any of them properly. I'm going to make sure I do one a week so I do it well. So I also made sure that I turned down the mic because I was clipping a lot last week. I was right up in the mic like, yeah, shouting, and the audio was hit because of it. So I've turned down the audio as well. So I'm improving on previous things and I'm adding one more thing. All right, cool. Back to Coming to America. Coming to America puts me in an awkward position. Why? One, because I know it's really hard to top a classic. Once you write a classic like that, you can't just come out of nowhere with a sequel. It's tough. And most times people are going to hate it anyway. People are going to hate it because, you know, they're so emotionally attached to the original. So, I'm aware of this. The other thing is, though, is that you also have to kind of be aware that, like, I'm a writer. So I'm obviously aware of the writing challenges You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm aware of, like, I'm not just aware of it in the sense of, like, as a fan. I'm aware of it as somebody who's written a script before. And I go, where do you go from here? You know what I'm saying? Like, at the time, had so many gifts to give. Like, for example, the Jericho was funny because of the era it was in. There is no obvious equivalent to that now, except if you were to do lace front wigs, and women don't have a sense of humor about their wigs in the same way that everybody was able to laugh at the greasiness of a Jericho at the time. So, what do you do? I'm very aware of that challenge. Saying that, I'm going to start off with the pros. Shout out to Makadawa. You don't know about Kaizen. There's levels, there's layers to this show. Levels. Alright. The pros of that movie. It was fun. It was fun. It was light-hearted fun. We got to see some cameos. We got to see some old faces again. You know what I'm saying? We got some nods back to the previous movie. You know what I'm saying? I particularly enjoyed when the twins came back out for the final performance. My name is Peaches and I'm the best. All the DJs want. You know the rest. You know what I'm saying? So it was fun. Second thing is, I appreciate the clever attempt at a subtext. They tried to give it a subtext. If you listen to the... and bearing in mind, if you're upset at this point because you haven't watched the movie, that's your fault. You know what I'm saying? This movie came out on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime does next day delivery. You wait in a week to watch a movie on their platform. You're the one who's behind. They tried to have a subtext in that movie. There's a conversation between the American gentleman and his Zamundan hairstylist. And they're talking about how you shouldn't remake great movies. Obviously, it's quite meta. The whole point is there. It's self-referential. But they give one exception to a good sequel. And that was to Barbershop. She's a hairstylist. See what they did there. And she quotes Beauty Shop as a good sequel. And the whole point in that is, rather than just making more barbershops, giving the woman's perspective is the best way to redo a good movie. So the idea that they would remake Coming to America and the new battle is not for Hakeem to take his place on the throne and find a wife, but more the fact that now the tradition, even though it wasn't more the fact, they still did focus on man and wife. But the idea is that they also addressed his daughter becoming queen and inheriting the throne. There was a lot of sort of women empowerment themes throughout the movie. The classic "Your royal penis is clean, your highness" was redone with a woman having herself serviced in the bath. There was obviously, you saw a lot of scenes of Simi and Akeem fighting. There was the whole thing about him asking his wife, like, what business do you want to start? And he didn't want to marry Tiana Taylor's character because she didn't want to start a business. She was basically doing the whole whatever you want, my lord kind of approach. So we get it. I get it. And it's a fairly clever subtext. I give them that. However, there are some serious holes in that movie. Serious holes in that movie. And I think the first one, which I can't believe was taken so lightly, is the fact that we find out that Akeem has sired a son after being drugged and having a sexual encounter that he not only didn't consent to, but wasn't aware happened. Yo, I don't know. I think the stream is acting up. Let me see if I can fix something with the stream, because it seems like it might be. It might be a bit better now, hopefully. I told you guys, I'm figuring this out as I go along, and every week there's obviously a new opportunity to get something wrong. Is it better now? I hope the whole thing is better now. Anyway, it was just giving me a warning that the bit rate was too high and all of this kind of stuff. I hope we figured all of that out. Yeah, so it's wild that they just casually threw in a whole storyline about a dude going through a non-consensual sexual encounter in this sort of empowering, up-to-date, modern approach. Weird. Seems that weird that would be a topic for comedy. A laugh, a ha-ha moment. Make of that what you will. Another thing is, there were on at least 2 occasions, the preacher character was described as a womanizer and sexist. And I get what they were trying to do for this movie, but I don't remember him being that way in the first movie. Now, I do remember him at the beauty pageant kind of being, there is a God somewhere when the women are out there. But I didn't get the vibe of like sexist womanizer. I got the vibe of over-enthusiastic preacher. Like he always was on 100 energy. So I was like, why all of a sudden is he sexist? I don't know. Maybe that's me as a man. Maybe I didn't pick up on the vibes. But that was another one of my concerns with this, because I really liked that preacher character, the one that was when he was like, and loving the Lord, I love the Lord, and if loving the Lord is wrong, I don't want to be right. That was a funny character. He had some lines in the first movie, so to just throw him under the bus like that, as just a weirdo, creepy, sexist guy, I was like, I get they're trying to be, all 21st century about it, but don't kill all the vibes, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, many problems. One, my biggest one, and this is not to say that other things aren't wrong with the movie, but my biggest problem was the romance was severely underbaked. One of the things I loved about Coming to America was the tension that built with Akeem and Lisa. It was over time. It was when they were dating, when she thought he was broke. It was him trying to hide it. It was the fact that she had that thing with Daryl, and it was like Akeem was showing up as the perfect guy. It was the basketball games. It was all the times when Akeem had to serve and she was on the swing, and then they go out on a date, and they're working in the same place. They're going to the museum. He tries to hide. They go to dinner. Someone to care, someone to share. They kiss for the first time, and then she finds out. And it was a whole solid romance. This one, they kind of gave each other. She gave him advice one time. They kind of had one walk, one chat. They kissed once, and next thing he wants to marry her. Brother, is it that deep? If I were her, I would be like, you're just currently trying to run away from this obligation, and I understand that, and I seem like the better option of the two. But there are more than 2 women in this world, so before you make this decision within a week, how about we just chill for a second and get to know each other? But no, I guess they're ready to marry after a week, because that's how the romance worked out. To me, severely underbaked. I had zero feels. I had feels when they kissed. I was like, okay, this is going somewhere. But there was nothing after that. Next thing, they're eloping. I was like, that's dead. Anyway, that's a personal point for me. Coming to America. If you have any thoughts on Coming to America as a movie, please do jump in the Zoom. In the comment section, you will see the link to click on. You can join the Zoom and jump on as a caller on the show. If you want to speak on any of the subjects, it's the same link. Just jump in on the Zoom, and we'll try and get you on live at some point to speak on something. So, at this point, we have to readdress the Harry and Meghan situation. Because I addressed it last week, nobody really wanted to speak on it. But obviously after the interview, there's a few more things to be said. Now, there's a lot of obvious things to be said. There's a lot of revelation and considerations and stuff. But one of the things that I find most interesting, that I actually want to address, is the fact that there's still this narrative around Meghan that basically she is manipulative and she is controlling Harry. Now, I understand this from two perspectives. The first one being that whenever a husband starts making decisions that he didn't make as a single man, now that he's married, if the family are used to having his ear, having his priority, having his energy, sometimes they can get intimidated by the fact that now all of that power or all of that influence is in the hand of his wife. So the first thing they'll do is accuse him of being controlled by his wife. There's a lot that plays into that. But that's a very crude approach, because I've been there. I've had to have some discussions where it's almost like people treat you as though if you do something to make your wife happy, it's because you don't have a mind of your own, which is a very, very, very toxic approach. But the interesting thing is that idea is usually held by women who would love to be able to control you. Whether it's your mom or your sister, the baby mother or whatever it is, if they see you get married and you now start making decisions that favor your wife, they will accuse you of being controlled. In that situation, I get why people say that about Meghan. Because Harry's making a lot of sacrifice and decisions in order to benefit his wife. Kudos to him. But I will say one thing. I think one of the reasons why people think that Meghan is quite manipulative is because, and this might be a little bit controversial, I don't think we have ever heard the spouse of a royal family member, talk this much. I know Diana did a lot of interviews, but I think that was kind of like after she got divorced. I don't know. But I don't really know what Sarah Ferguson has to say about much. I don't really hear Prince Philip speak that much. I don't even really hear Kate Middleton speak that much. But I done heard 3 podcasts worth from Meghan Markle. And I guess it brings up something about whether we really want what it really looks like to be with somebody who's powerful, and whether you need to also be speaking up, whether your voice also has to be heard. Because the thing is that if Meghan was more silent, I guess it would be more in keeping with what we're used to. Harry's the royal family member. He's married you. You come in, you keep your mouth shut, you show up in the places, you wave, you do the stuff. But here she comes, and she wants to talk. She wants to speak up about her thoughts, what's been going on. She wants to expose what's going on in the royal family. And so I think it's new for people. Now, the one thing I will say about watching that interview, I didn't watch all of it, but one clip that I watched extended bits, but, I watched the clip. I was like, this, not that it shouldn't be this way, but to Meghan, that's Harry. That's Hazza. That's H. That ain't no Prince. She cut him off one point. She was like, oh, sorry about that. And just carried on talking. I was like, yo, let that be a Nigerian man who has been brought up in royalty and have his wife cut him off and say, hold on a second, I've got more talking to do. Are you mad? Your head must not be correct. Where they born you? Now me they born for palace. Where they born you? When you feel talk when I'm talking? Shut up! I'm talking, you're talking. The chest, the effrontery, the absolute unbelievable arrogance and insolence to be talking when I'm talking. Even the fact that Harry wasn't there for like half of it, and then he comes in, kind of sits by her side, it kind of makes him look like he's the supporting cast in her show. And I don't think people were ready for that. And you know what? I'll tell you one thing. In today's world, that's what romance looks like. The more and more men take a backseat and let their women shine in front, the more and more they're praised. By women, obviously. Are there any women that want to take a backseat and let their husband take the forefront? Is that a thing anymore? Is that a thing? Because this guy's a flipping royalty. And, he's willing to just chill and lay back. Let her be talking. Let her do all her interviews. I'm just a supportive husband. Fair play to him. But at the same time, I don't know if that always plays out that way. And there are going to be a lot of relationships on the rocks right now. Because sisters are going, why can't you be like Harold? Why can't you be like Prince Harry over here? Look at how he supports Meghan. And I want to go and flipping do twerk classes and you're trying to stop me. Why can't you let me live out my dreams? I want to go have a hot girl summer. And you trying to hold me back. Why can't you be like Harry? A lot of relationships are going to be tested off of this fantasy you guys are watching on TV. Look here, fair play to him, because obviously he's done a lot of work to come across as a very progressive gentleman from a very archaic family, and well done to him for having his own approach to life and his own and the courage to step out and do things his own way. They cut the purse strings, and my guy said, yeah, we'll make it work. We'll do Netflix, we'll do Spotify, whatever it takes. Put out content. They turned royal family members into content creators. Me and Prince Harry doing the same job right now. Of course he's getting paid way more than me, but bro, we got the same job title. We out here putting out content same way. You know, CBS paid $7 million for that interview. $7 million. For her pain, for her microaggressions, that woman got $7 million. She'll be alright. Alright, Toby Allen says, I'm happy she spoke because there's too much ignorance centering these people who tell us to worship without question. E.G. Churchill. I hear you, bro. But at the same time, speaking up in the grand scheme of things, these are institutions that have stood for hundreds of years and been built by people who don't care about us. And our aim is to still somehow talk them into a sense of decency. When will we learn? Look here, I'm not saying there's no hope or they can't change or whatever, but why is this the hill we're willing to die on? We put so much energy into trying to change old white supremacist structures as opposed to flipping going and building our own. Africa is tired. Africa is weak and needing strength. And we put in energy into trying to change white people. My goodness. When will my people learn? Well. I so we see it. Okay. Shout out to Michael. I see Nigeria man will look at her like I'm talking, you're talking. For real. For real. And you know what? And I saw a really good tweet about this. The guy, I mean, it was Nigerian level sarcasm, so it's fantastic. But basically, this woman tweeted, "Oh, I hope Nigerian men are watching this. It's about time you start supporting your women, uplifting your women, blah, 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 blah." Nigerian man replied, "Oh, thank you for this fantastic new approach. Because Nigerian men have not been listening to their women. They have not been educating their women or empowering their women. Thank you for showing us this new Lord of Hosts, Harry." And it was when you saw that Lord of Hosts that was the little telling there to let you know that he's being sarcastic, which makes it beautiful. It was like, as far as sarcasm goes, it was 10 out of 10. It was beautiful. But the point there is how easily my sisters are swayed. So easily swayed. The same people that you're saying don't want you, disrespect you, blah blah blah, they throw you the tiniest bit of attention, and you guys are like, see, black men, why can't you be like this? Meanwhile, black men at an overwhelming rate are the biggest allies of black women. Yet, the worst amongst us consistently define all of us. Y'all will jump over 10 guys who are trying to protect and love you to find the one dude who doesn't like you or doesn't respect you or doesn't value you, so you can say, see, look at black men. My goodness. When will my sisters learn? But on that note, before we get too political, if you want to challenge me or you want to add your thoughts, add your 2 pence, like I said, join the Zoom. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button and dropping comments and so on, just to get the engagement up. I am I'm willing to take calls at any point, but at this point I also want to get into, I put it out as I did last week on my Instagram stories. I'm going to add more sections to the show. There's going to be all sorts. I've said before, there's going to be talent displays like a late night show would. There's going to be guests. There's going to be all sorts. I'm working on it bit by bit. So stick with me. Stick with me on this. So I put it out there. This is the regular segment. Ask me a question about relationships, marriage, sex, all that kind of stuff. I got one question which has nothing to do with that, so I'm just going to answer it out of the gate because it's an easy one to answer as well. Jollof or egusi soup, whichever one you pick, you can't have the other forever. You see, that's not even a real question to me, because jollof is life. So obviously I'm picking jollof. Egusi soup can disappear off the face of this earth and I will be fine. If you said F or Riro, that might be a problem. But egusi can do one. Not that I don't like egusi, but in the grand scheme of things, it's insignificant. Jollof, on the other hand, is life. So jollof is the answer. Let's get to these comments. they went in the clubhouse rooms with their held dates with white men. Nah, they'll skip over all of those, man. They love one of these. When they see a Serena end up with a non-black guy, they cheer. They love it. They love it. If they heard, I definitely believe they would think differently. They will skip over it, my G. They just want to believe that these black men just don't love them. Sorry, the biggest ally of black women? Black men. I said it. Black men. The ones you keep accusing of being your biggest enemy, actually your biggest ally. You're just terrible allies. I'm not saying that black men are never allies, but the biggest ally, let's not overstate it. Who is a bigger ally to black women than black men? I'll wait. I want someone to come up on here and prove to me that someone else, any other demographic, is a bigger ally to black women. I want to hear it. I would love to hear it. Oh, this is going to be fantastic. Because the statistics will forever show that black men are the biggest allies to black women, and yet the most disrespected by black women. It's a shame, y'all. It's a shame. The biggest. Yes, I said the biggest. Unless you were to count God all by himself. Ain't nobody allied with black women as much as black men have. You just, like, you see it every day, but you just take it for granted so much. And you skip over it to go and find the worst narratives. You guys will grow up with a black dad, see 12 black dads in your life, and see one black dad that doesn't end up with his kids and be like, see, look at the black dads. They never with their kids. Your dad is at home looking at you with 3 years worth of Father's Day cards missing. Looking at you like, look at this. Look at this life. Look at this life. And I'm saying this with a dad who was absent for most of my life. And even I know that black men are incredibly present with their children. Yet, we have to always face the narrative. Because the worst of us define all of us. You can't define black women by the worst of them, by the way. You can't define black women by those of them that are loud, manipulative, evil, ugly. No. Black women need a good narrative. Black men, on the other hand, don't deserve a good narrative. We deserve to be defined by those of us that beat black women, that hate black women, that don't date black women, that don't want to marry black women, and so on and so forth. When will my sisters learn? Oh, Toby Allen said it's the Asian people selling them weaves. Those are your biggest allies. I'd take it back. I was wrong. Toby, you funny for that one, bro. You funny for that one. Yeah, I'll take it back. You guys, that's your biggest ally right there, man. It's the Asian guys that sell you your wigs and your weaves. They need to listen to the Dope Black Dads podcast. Bro, they don't even need to listen to it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm in the group. I'm in the Dope Black Dads WhatsApp group. I know dads. And do you know what I'm saying? Like, black men are not perfect. Black women not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But the way in which narratives are formed about black men are unbelievable. Shocking. And do you know why they're so strong? It's because anytime any other demographic wants to hate black men, they've got just enough black women back in the narrative to be like, see, I didn't make it up. Look, they say it too. My goodness. Absolutely shocking. But it's good. It's all good, man. We're going to get there one day. Hopefully before Jesus comes back. Alright. The next question I was asked. And this one, I appreciate it. This one's actually on topic. Does porn have a role in marital sex? First of all, I'd love to understand how this question came about. I'd really like to dig deeper, but Luckily and obviously, I do this a bit more anonymously so people can ask what they really mean. But I would say the answer is yes, and it's a destructive role. Porn in marriage is a source of miseducation, a source of anxiety, specifically around performance. It is a disruptor of intimacy. And it's a band-aid that can be used in many ways to prolong a problem that's not being addressed. Now, anybody who's listened to me, listened to Sunday Sermon, listened to my stand-up, knows that I do not talk to you guys about porn from any kind of moral high ground at all. I talk to you as a real brother who done went through the struggles. Very young age, exposed to pornography. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew it was exciting. That's the thing. It's interesting. I guess when you get curious, you start to hit puberty. These things interest you. It's natural. But when you're introduced to it in a way that you shouldn't have, it's not good for your brain at all. It's not good for your brain. So in many ways, every day, some young children have been exposed to something that's going to shape their brains forever. They're going to get releases of... I can't remember what... I can't remember the term, but there's a term basically how, like, whenever you take the first hit of an addictive substance, one of the reasons why it's so addictive is because your body gets tolerant, so the effect of it wears off, and so you're forever trying to get that first high, because that was the most powerful one. And so you keep chasing it. I think it's chasing the dragon or something. Yeah. He's called Chasing the Dragon. And so I'm aware of what porn does. Like when a kid sees it, it's very easy to get to the point where it actually becomes way more exciting than actual sex. And for that reason, if you try and introduce it to your marriage, it's like bringing somebody else in for a threesome. And how many times have you seen that kind of storyline on TV where it's like, it's supposed to start off as a threesome or whatever it is, or just an arrangement, and bit by bit, everything turns towards the new. And everything that you had before falls apart. It's like Indecent Proposal. One night for $1 million, and bit by bit, the marriage absolutely crumbles and falls apart, and she runs off with the guy. That's what porn is like. Porn promises you a momentary pleasure, but a lifetime of repayments. So if we're going to talk about it in terms of what it does to a marriage or the role it plays in a marriage, I can only talk to you as a destructive one. It can add thrills. I won't lie about that. Oh, it can be exciting. You can use it as an opportunity to be like, you see what she just did there? Yeah, I like that. Oh, you see how he did that? I like that. You could do that. But one thing you don't know is, like, it gives with one hand, it takes with the other, man. So when you're saying to her, yeah, I like that, she's watching more than the act. She's like, oh, look at her body though. Is that really what he wants? Mine doesn't look like that. When she's like, oh, I like how he did that, and you're thinking, my goodness, how is he still stroking right now? Or how has he got this much strength? Oh my goodness, I ain't got that kind of strength. I ain't got that kind of stamina. I ain't got that kind of equipment. And bit by bit, performance anxiety can set in. Or you can start to judge each other and be like, I didn't know that's the kind of thing you were into. Even if you're trying to be open-minded, you might get caught off guard. Sometimes stuff be happening and you're like, oh, I didn't know. And I had to speak to a friend of mine. I had a female friend of mine, and she was white with a black boyfriend. And she found one of his porn DVDs. And it was like big bubble black sluts or something like that. And she got hella uncomfortable and nervous. Like, deep down, is this what he wants? And I had to be real with her that it may be. But one thing you can't do is read all the meanings that you think into what somebody's watching. Because he might just be watching it for some other reason. And it doesn't mean this is exclusively what he likes. He might also have other DVDs and so on and so forth. But I know that that would have eaten away at her for a while. At least for a while. Obviously, she's going to start thinking, maybe he's into me now, but at some point he's going to be like, oh, I need a black woman. And then our relationship's going to fall apart. And it could have been a possibility. Who knows? So in many ways, I kind of go, do you know what? The overarching point that I can make about the role of porn in marriage is that you're signing a destruction warrant on your marriage. You can't set up complete boundaries for what porn will do. You can't be like, oh, we're just going to bring porn in just for the good bits. You can't do that. Once it's in your house, it's in your house. And if it brings a whole bunch of terrible, destructive ideas, anxieties, concerns, I'm really, really gassy because I started drinking Coke. And that was a terrible idea before a live stream. Don't drink Coke before a live stream. Hey, shout out to Tina. Tina, you here? So yeah, I'm warning you, it's tempting. Don't bring it into your marriage. Don't bring it in as a substitute for it, because the wife doesn't like to have sex too much, so the husband just uses porn in the meantime. And don't bring it in as a way to try and learn sex between you guys. Both of those are destructive. Now, Ina Moore says, generally speaking though, porn can be very harmful. It's fake/acting sex, and sex should be based on love, which can't or shouldn't be faked. Couples should make their own porn. Do you know what? I can't hate on it. I can't hate on it. Look, yeah, whatever you guys do to increase your own intimacy, if you want to record yourself or have sex in front of a mirror, then by all means, I'm all for it. Go for it. Enjoy it. Make it, put on a show for yourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it fun, make it exciting. But there's something about that porn, man. There's something about when you start bringing in other people's naked bodies and whatnot. All these, you know, it is fake, it's acting. And it's scenes that are spliced together. They take breaks. Sometimes there are fluffers to keep them going. Sometimes they're using performance-enhancing drugs. They're using tubs of lube that you're not seeing all the time. So when you're thinking this woman is just so into it, she's so lubricated. Some of that is done very artificially. Some of these women go through immense amounts of pain afterwards. Some of these guys have real health conditions that come from the lifestyle of the work that they do. I'm not saying this as, remember, like I said from the jump, I'm not saying this from any moral high ground position. I'm saying this as, this is a real struggle. I know it well. That's why I speak on it. I speak on it because I know the damage it can do. So, you guys, a word is enough for the wise. Alright, I'm gonna drop the link in one more time in the chat. Shout out to Tina. Good to see you, sis. If anybody wants to jump in and talk about Coming to America 2, Harry and Meghan, or even porn and marriage, then please do join in the Zoom and call in. Right now, I'd love to take some callers. Let's go. Tina, I see you coming to America was disappointing. Come and talk about it. Jump in the Zoom. Let's go. Mummy's Muse, you want to come on and tell me who the biggest ally to black women is? Let the callers jump in. Let the callers jump in. Let's go. Tina, please turn your camera on. Yes, we're doing cameras. Let's go. Yeah. This is what it is. Nah, turn on your camera and then turn down the volume on the YouTube and watch it. See, we're doing vibes now. Alright. Fix your situation real quick. Don't worry, sis. It's gonna be all good. I know. Late night vibes, man. That's how we do it. Yeah, just put your camera on, man. And make sure you watch it so you can see how good you look. Indeed, to God be the glory. Hey, the good sis.
Wagwan.
Yo, okay. Let's turn down this music and get into it, man. I ain't spoken to you in a while, man. It's been a while since we've done the whole back and forths, the whatnots, the what's ups. What's happening, man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've been really busy. This year for me has been about personal development. I think I've spent the last 10 years of my life serving others, and I think this year I'm trying to actually focus on my own life. So, I mean, when I say try, I've been trying to focus on personal development. There obviously still been some things that I've had to do for other people that I would not have wanted to, but such is life, right? But yeah, but I'm trying. Honestly, I'm trying to just get stuff. Oh wow. See myself, but yeah, I'm trying to.
Don't know. Is that look good though?
Just get stuff done, and so yeah, so I've got like a huge to-do list, and I've been hitting some stuff on my to-do list, which is making me really happy. So that's
fantastic.
Good.
That is fantastic. So, okay, so if you were to get like one form of support right now from somebody, what would it be?
Cash.
I knew it. I literally asked an Igbo babe, what kind of support would you like? As if I was not going to hear money. As if I was not going to hear funds.
Cash and just like emotional support, I think. Because I'm so like, okay, Tina will do it, Tina will fix it. I'm usually the one that supports everybody. A lot of the time, people don't necessarily give me encouragement because they're just like, "Oh, Tina's got it in the bag." Do you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't need a pep talk.
Yeah.
I don't really need a pep talk from anybody, but I would like I would like it. I would like someone to offer and be like, "Girl, you doing your thing, girl. Keep going." You know.
Everybody on the live right now, drop something in the comments to encourage Tina. Tina, you are going to make it in this 2021. You must thrive. That personal development must develop. Your aims and goals must be smashed in this year. With God on your side, you will not fail. You will not lack. You will not struggle. You will attain with ease. The Lord will remove toiling from your story. You will have the chance to relax and become soft and relax and not forever be on my neck in the mighty name of Jesus. The Lord will give you his peace. The Lord will give you his peace that passes all human understanding. Receive it right now. Receive it because you need it right now. And that's what I'm trying to say to you. This is not just a prayer, it's a prophecy. You are going to be off my neck this year in Jesus' name.
It's not possible. We have to understand why God brings people into people's lives. And if it's to press your neck, or even if it's just to pinch it, that's what I'm going to do until God says, okay, your job is done. Simple.
You see, some of us are living out callings that we were not called for. Nobody asked you to do.
Was you there when God called me? Was you there?
God did not call you to come and stress me.
You wasn't there.
Oh yeah, let's talk on the topic. What were your thoughts on coming to America?
What? Who begged them, please? Because do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Let me not even get hot because I've already had my shower and I was ready in my bed. Right? Let me not get myself hot. But I understand that we were wanting a coming to America too, but we didn't beg them to do it. You know when you do it when you do something begrudgingly and it's not good. That's what it seemed like. It seemed I don't know why they gave it to. Who was the guy that wrote it? The guy who wrote Mixed Dish and Blackish. The same guy. He's the
Kenya Barris.
Kenya. No, they shouldn't have given it to him because we knew he writes. The way that he writes, right, is particular. I'm a fan of Blackish. I'm a fan of Mixed Dish. I'm a fan of those sort of things. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But his writing style was not correct and was not ideal for coming to America. It needed a certain level of maturity that I don't think he possesses. Do you know what I mean? And he wasn't able to do it. And he wasn't able to do it justice, and I'm really disappointed because I wanted like my son to watch Coming to America and be like, oh my gosh, this was lit, and he's watching it like it's a Disney movie. That's what he's watching it like. He's watching it like it's a Disney movie and not a classic. They made it like it was like a straight to DVD movie. Yeah, I think like a BET movie. Who begged you?
I feel like they didn't have a plot.
Sophistication in the writing. It was lacking. There was no sophistication in the writing. There was no we wanted there was a storyline. Fair enough. There was a storyline, but we wanted a little bit of depth. That's the word. It was the depth. There's no depth to it. Come on. I tried. They didn't even try.
Did you feel empowered by the women's empowerment narratives?
I mean, I get it, but it didn't make me feel like, oh, it didn't make me go, like when you watch, Black Panther, the women, the female soldiers, that was empowering. Do you know what I mean? Like they protected the king. This one that, okay, you're supposed to be queen. Yeah, we get it. But it didn't move me that, she can't be king because she can't be queen because she's a female looking for a male heir. It's tired. It was so tired. I don't know. I mean, I love the celebrity aspect. I love the costume. Do you know what I mean? I like the jokes were funny. The jokes landed, and with the cast, you were going to get jokes that landed. So that was fine. I just wanted a little bit of depth in the writing, which I didn't get.
Fair play. I mean, I gave my own thoughts on it before. I said that it was fun. It was, we enjoyed the cameos. We enjoyed seeing some old faces. It was fun. And also they tried to give it some subtext. They tried to give it some clever undertones. At the whole conversation about barbershop and remaking it as beauty shop, and how basically that was the only one that they gave credit for as a good sequel, because essentially they kind of gave it a women's narrative. And so that's what they were trying to do with this one, was to try and give it to, the only way to retouch a classic was to give it a women's narrative. So when what's it called, when Akeem is leaving Cleo McDowell, and he's like, oh, I really needed a father right now, and he's like, well, what would your mum have said? It's like,
I like that line.
Of course you like that line. You guys are not gonna let it slide. The guy said he needed a dad. They were like, yeah, but what about your mum? Like, that's literally Father's Day. That's how it runs. So it was like, at that point I was like, they tried something clever with the subtext, and I respect it. But on the whole, I felt like a lot of those elements, like the gender, and so on, were to cover up a lack of plot. And my biggest gripe was the fact that the romance was underbaked. I really wanted to see a good romance. I really enjoyed Akeem and Lisa. And this one was just underwhelming. They kissed like one time, next thing they want to get married. They want to elope.
Honestly, it was too dry. Who wrote it? Every time I know who wrote it, and I'm still asking because it lacked depth. And if the goal was to offer, wow, there's a spider in my room. If the goal, why do animals have all of outside? The whole of outside is for them, yeah? The whole of outside is for them. But they find their way inside where we have built for us to live, to separate ourselves from them. We've even said we want you to enjoy outside. That's what we've said. We said enjoy it. Everything that is outside, enjoy it. Let's build this small room with 4 walls. We will live inside here. The atmosphere you can live outside there and enjoy. But they'll be like, no. They'll find a way to enter the house. And then if we kill them now, we're the problem. If we now kill them, we're the problem. But when you was entering the house, you didn't think, you know what, let me just leave this place for these people and now enjoy outside. Why is there a spider in my room? No, but who begged the spider to come inside here? So now I'm supposed to be doing the humanitarian, the Eve and the Adam and the Eve, and be a good steward of the earth and Greenpeace energy, and now guide it outside. But it won't guide itself outside.
It's okay. It's one spider. Let the spider live.
Spider is massive, and I think I'm looking at.
I've never heard a woman say a spider was small. Every spider is huge. Every spider is a tarantula that's ready to come and eat your face. Relax.
The spider is the size of my hand. That's how big it is.
Oh my
gosh!
God.
The other day, I got chased by a horse fox. The fox was a horse fox. It wasn't a fox. It was a horse that had foxy characteristics. Yeah, it was a horse fox, and it was in my school playground. If you see the catastrophe that happened, the fox was it was a horse fox. Anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah, the narrative. I'm not going to be able to concentrate now because of the spider. But the narrative, if the narrative was offering a female lead and offering a female perspective, then they should have given the daughter she should have been a central character, not just stupid boy from Brooklyn or Harlem with his stupid haircut. That shouldn't have been the thing made me so mad.
Yeah.
Look at my trim. But yeah, so she should have been the central focus. She was a supporting role. She should have been the lead. It was back to front.
I hear that. If they were going to do that women's thing, they should have done it in terms of one of his daughters going to go and find her husband or whatever. But you can't, I don't know if you can really fly to America, go find a husband, but if that could have been, I guess, an approach. I also said that it was super weird how we were all supposed to just kiki through the fact that Eddie Murphy's character, Akeem, just basically had non-consensual sex after being drugged and fathered a child that way, and that was like a ha 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 moment.
Yeah,
I was like,
was very bad.
That was weird. It was like, that's a very weird, like, especially because the rest of the movie was trying to be very current and up to date and blah blah blah. I was like, how is this the approach? And how has nobody said, hold on a second, we might not want to put this kind of sexual assault scene into this movie and make it a punchline? But anyway,
the other way around, even in favor of you men, I know that's your thing, champion for all the men. If it was the other way around, if we would have been screaming all kinds of, all kinds of key statements. But yeah, it wasn't good. I actually wish I'm going to watch it again, to be fair. I'm going to watch it again tomorrow night. I've only watched it once. So I'm going to watch it again tomorrow night. And
you have time, my sister. You have time.
Because maybe I was just in a bad mood.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. The movie's just like that. No, let me quickly get to your thoughts on some of the other topics real quick. So we also discussed the Harry and Meghan thing, and the angle that I took on it was not to just discuss what was actually exposed that day, but just more the fact that this narrative around Meghan being manipulative or controlling. So I said that I understand it from two perspectives. One, whenever a husband starts making decisions to favor his wife when previously that might have been his mother or his sister or whatever it is, it seems like he's been bewitched by this woman, whereas that's just the natural order of things. People need to let go. He needs to prioritize his wife.
Yeah.
But the other point that I said is that this is probably the most we've heard the spouse of a royal family member speak. Yeah. She's very prominent. In fact, he seems like supporting cast in her story. And it's very much about her and his entire narrative is about what he does for her, how he supports her, how he's willing to move for her, how he lets her take center stage, what her mental health is. I don't even know, that much about what Harry even does these days. I know that they cut the purse strings. Now he's making content. Me and Harry got the same job. Like that's about all I know. But with her, we're kind of hearing her speak quite a lot, and I think people aren't necessarily used to that in a royal context. But I think also when you have a powerful man, not always expecting the woman to be vocal. There's something about that sort of supportive role that people kind of expect you to sort of be less prominent, I guess. So yeah, just in general, like, what are your thoughts on that whole situation and the narratives around Meghan?
I don't know. I tried to not let this situation trigger me. You know how I'm easily triggered by things.
Of course.
So I tried to not let this situation trigger me, because really it's not my business. But one of the things that I wanted to point out about this whole Meghan as a black woman is controlling and manipulative narrative, I wanted to put it to rest, because Harry has always been vocal about his dislike for the British press and his family. Okay, this is not somebody who hasn't been vocal about it from before he went to university. He's asked for privacy. He's spoken about the fact that he didn't like the way that he was treated in and around when his mother passed and being forced to walk behind the hearse. He's made multiple references to the lack of privacy, to the disparaging comments that he sees in the media and the press. We've seen him be vocal on a number of different topics consistently prior to Meghan. Why everybody now has amnesia? Harry has always been the problem child, or the outspoken one, the one who's gone against the grain. He's always been the person who's been more down to earth, more socially relative, socially current. He's always been this person. He's always had this personality. So why now all of a sudden the British press have forgotten that was who he was before Meghan? Is, well, to be fair, it's not surprising, because that's what they do. It's annoying. For me, it's just annoying, because one of the things that I hate, my biggest grievance with not only white people, but with British press, is that they think that we don't speak English, right? Or that we don't understand English. We went to the same school, the same university we went to, the same degree and GCSE we've got. So when you say things and you think that we don't understand, I hate it when people just insult my intelligence. That's my biggest pet peeve. Out of everything, racism, I don't care. If you put every barrier before me, yeah, I honestly, but to insult my intelligence and make me feel as if this sentence that you have written, I'm not supposed to understand it. Hey, God, that's the biggest frustration for me. That's the biggest frustration. If you're going to be racist, please let it be overt. If you're going to say things like, oh, all of a sudden now Harry's doing this for his wife and doing this for his wife, Meghan seems to be, just say, angry black controlling woman. Just say it so that we could all pack our load and be going. That's just say it. Just say it. Just come out of it and be. You've shown to the whole world. What I love about the royal family and the British press is that they've done our job for them. You know, usually we are the ones that expose the royal family as racist and, you know, their colonial heritage, and we expose the British press as having very, very, very overt biases, right? So we are the people who are usually holding the press to account and holding the royal family to account. But this time they've shown their asses to the world themselves, right? Obviously the disparities between how they comment on Kate and how they comment on Meghan is clear for everyone to see, right? So they've done their job for them. What I would like for them to do now is just be like, do you know what? We don't like you. We're tired of you black people. You nigger this, you nigger that. Just say it so that we can go about our business. Because all this implicit bias, all of these covert ways and covert tendencies of trying to express yourself is really, really annoying. And I think for me, it's insulting our intelligence. That's my biggest issue. I have nothing else to say about Meghan and Harry. It is what it is. I wish them all the best. Harry's gang, he's been invited to the barbecue and the cookouts from time, right? From time we've seen him whining and doing all sorts and taking trips to certain parts of the Commonwealth where the melanin resides, yeah? From time that we've seen him do all of this, he's always been gang, and we will always back it for him. Meghan is our sis, our good sis, and I'm very, very glad that she is speaking out and not letting this colonial family silence her. I'm very, 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 very supportive of them. What I would like the British press to do is just to say what they want to say their chest. Just say it. You know how like H&M will come and put black child and monkey on a t-shirt and then say sorry. We know, you know what I mean? Like we know what you meant. We see it. Just say what you want to say and then afterwards just say sorry, innit? So that we can all move on with our life. Because all of this going back and forth, having useless conversations with CNN and GBM and, you know, talking about colonialism and imperialism and racism, it's conversations that we've had repeatedly. And as we keep saying, black people, we keep saying, it's not our job to educate white people. But yet every day we'll come and be doing it on social media and on TV. And babes, pick up a book. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Just say it if your chest, let us to go in.
I mean, I trust you to have a take, and I trust you to have a strong take on it. So I'm not surprised by what you're saying, but there's something I want to kind of draw attention to, and that is, I brought up earlier on, and it was this kind of tweet that was put out by this woman, basically trying to at Nigerian men that, can you not see how Harry is doing for his wife? Nigerian men, you should come and take notes, kind of thing. And in fact, I should actually just find the tweet so that I can give you, because the guy clearly took time to craft his response, and it was, you know, the kind of sarcasm that Nigerians have. It's like it's a skill. We've gone to the mountains to go and train for it. You know what I'm saying?
Do you not think it's like God gave us this extra level? There's something in our brains that enable us to be comedic, and
I don't get it. I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's hard living mixed with crystal sipping, man.
That's definitely what it is.
It's the most consistent. All right, this is what she tweeted. I hope Nigerian men can learn one or two things from Harry, standing by and protecting his wife through it all. And the guy now responded, yes, Queen, yes, we are changed now. Before this period, Nigerian men didn't stand by their women. They didn't pay for their education. They didn't help them in their careers. But by watching the example set by Lord of Host Harry, we know we know better now. It's that Lord of Hosts. It's that Lord of Hosts that Lord just... Oh. And then he now put thank you at the end with the prayer hands emoji. And you know, the thing about it is that I think there's a tendency to set the bar really low for white guys. That even the slightest bit of being decent to a black woman is like, see, black men, come and look at this. Meanwhile, black men are by vast majority loving, living with, supporting, being great to black women, and y'all would jump over the masses of guys doing that to point to one black guy who's not doing it, or 5 black guys who are not doing it, and be like, look at black guys, and basically how we need to suffer that narrative. And I made the point earlier on that funny enough, even though we're accused of being black women's worst enemy, we're actually black women's biggest ally. And Mummy's Muse told me I was overstating this.
Oh, really?
I'm yet to see who is black women's biggest allies. She said, I'm not saying that black men are never allies, but the biggest ally, let's not overstate it. I think we are the biggest ally. I
think you guys are the biggest allies too. Definitely, it's not white women. So who else could it be? So
this is what I'm saying. I don't know. That's why I wanted to find out. But I think, you know, in many ways, it's a point that I made on Sunday's sermon when we talked about the black dads and so on, and about how our narrative is always shot to pieces because we're defined by the worst of us. We can see, you know, black men being very present as being dads, and you can see a minority be terrible fathers, and we have to suffer the minority, and people say, well, that's my lived experience, but, you know, we know it's in the minority. Meanwhile, no one else wants to be defined by their bad minority. So in many ways, I think when we get these kind of narratives around Harry, I think it's a bit overinflated because the expectation is so low for white guys that even if he just like bought her some cocoa butter or whatever, he bought her the right brand of conditioner, people would be like, oh my goodness, he knows, he went and got the Cantu Naturals or whatever it is that sisters are using these days, and he would be like, yes, he's the king, and you know, they invite him to the barbecue and all of those kind of narratives. Meanwhile, black men are out here just doing the work every day. Just, you know, I'm just out here, you know, loving on my wife or whatever. No one gives me a trophy because I stood by her when my mum was getting a bit extra. That no one's gonna really like. It's gonna be like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. So I just kind of feel like Harry's kind of riding off that that white mediocrity wave a bit.
I don't even know if it's white men. To be fair, I just think women have low expectations of men in general. You could be black, white, Chinese, Puerto Rican, Asian. Like, women have such a low. Let me not add them to my number. Let's stand together. We have such low expectations. We have such low expectations of men in general as being supportive partners. You know, I think we've just kind of resolved ourselves to the fact that we just manage with what we have, and we see what we want to see. We see semblances of what we would like our spouses to be like publicly supportive. I think some of the images that I saw floating around Instagram was when a series of times that Harry was like helping and adjusting Meghan's hair, like pulling.
I know that's what you guys love. That's what you people will be loving, because he helped with the hair, or he bent down to tie her shoelace. Now, look at love. Look at real love.
Exactly. Those are the things. So we have these picture perfect, romantical images that we see dotted across social media, and we're like, oh my gosh, we wish that our men would do this for us, or we would see more of this in our own communities in general. And we see these small things, and we think that these are the archetype images of love and companionship. And if that is what we see and we want for ourselves, can you imagine what women are going through in their own house if they can compile a meme of 17 times that Harry has adjusted Meghan's hair? Imagine what they're going through in their own house. That means their man is despising their wig, their bonnet, their hair products, their eyebrow, their eyelash. Like, can you imagine? To sit there, and actually compile every time Harry has adjusted Meghan's hair. Inside their house, they're suffering. And so for me, that's how I see it. That's how I deep it. I just think that women in general have we actually don't like men. We have such a disdain.
And when I say this, you people will say I'm lying though. You people will say I'm lying. Because this sounds like absolute disgust at this point.
We have such a disdain for men. We're just like, but because we can't live without you guys, we have to manage together. We just like it and lump it. Do you know what I mean? I don't necessarily think it's a white thing. I think in general, actually, to be fair, in general, when we see a white man adoring a black woman, it does make us happy, no matter which kind of way. It does make us happy because if we expect less from black men, then we expect lesser from white men. Do you know what I mean? And I think because when we see a white man who honors a sister, we're like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. We number one, we've ruled out the fact that it could be a fetish. We don't think Harry fetishizes. What's the word?
Fetishizes.
Meghan, you know what I mean? So when we can see it and it looks genuine, we're like, this is absolutely beautiful, So yeah, I just think women don't like men in general. But yeah, I don't know. I think the whole narrative, I honestly think the whole narrative around Meghan and Harry and how we love Harry as black people is just so funny. I love it. I love it when black people collectively across the world pick a few white people that we like. I love it. There's something about that fills me with joy. The fact that we can collectively decide which white person do we like this decade? Like the fact that all our moms went to school with Diana. Doesn't matter who or where. Every Afro-Caribbean mom schooled with Diana. And not just like they schooled with her, because when they back Diana, it's like, that's their good sis,
Yeah, but that's because they all identify with the mother-in-law drama. Everyone knows the
mother-in-law drama and the useless husband drama. That's what they identify with. Every black woman, ask every mom, they can see that Charles is wicked to the core and useless. So we can see it through the pictures, through the photo ops, through everything. We're looking at the camera, we're looking at the TV like this man is useless. And so we know it. We know it. We could just tell. The black women, mothers have this innate ability to decipher who is whatless and who is not whatless.
Oh, do they? They do have that ability.
It's ingrained.
Why don't they use it before
marrying
and getting pregnant to this person?
It's just specific. The way that sometimes it offs and sometimes it comes on.
Oh, okay.
It's temperamental.
So there's like one off switch. There's like a mumu button. When they kiss you here, it will now deactivate the. Okay.
It switches off every time we are fed. Yeah, it switches out every time
you're fed.
When we're hungry, that's when it's at its optimum. When we're full, the thing is dormant. It's just dormant. That's why food. Have you noticed that food is the biggest cause, was the single biggest problem that black women, Nigerian women in particular, have? Food. For food, yeah. What we can do for food is actually insane. What we will tolerate for food is insane.
That's hilarious. That is actually hilarious.
It's food. That's our problem. In Nigeria, that's our problem is food. Because we'll be angry. Nigerians will be angry at the political state. We'll be doing NSARS. We'll be angry at what our bosses are doing. These corrupt politicians. We'll be angry at work. Angry driving in the traffic. As soon as we get home and we eat that pound of jam, which one is problem? Stop life, because what problem no they finish? This is what I'm saying. So it's like,
problem no they finish.
We get all our troubles.
For real, man. That's from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8. You don't know. Enjoy life, man. Okay, so we discussed the Harry and Meghan situation. And then the quick question is jollof or egusi? The other one disappears forever.
One disappears forever?
Yeah, the one you don't pick disappears forever. Wow, you're really thinking about this.
I picked egusi should disappear forever.
Well, of course, that's the only correct answer here. Jollof is life.
Yeah,
how could Jollof leave this earth? Nah, the earth will tilt off its axis. Seasons will change.
I've got a question for you. I saw it on someone's thing. I'm excited.
Wow. Okay, let's go for it.
Who makes the better fried rice? Nigerians or Chinese people?
Chinese people. Nigerians don't have fried rice. Our fried rice is non-existent. Do you know? It's only 2020.
Think about what you're saying, Ola. Think about it.
It's only 2020 that I think I actually enjoyed in Nigerian fried rice, and my mom made it. And the way my mom did it, she went to go and like she did some special stuff. She went to go and like dry roast the prawns before she added them in. So she had them in the oven before she added them in. So that was fantastic. Then she did some other extra spices and so on. Other than that, that fried rice that will spoil just because you looked at it. That will spoil because you looked at it. God, do you know? God punish for a Nigerian fried rice. You know? Do you know?
The worst thing about Nigerian fried rice.
The what? That something that cannot last in the fridge. Something that cannot last in the fridge. What use is this to anybody? Do you know? On my wedding day, the caterer arrived to find out that the fried rice she had cooked had spoiled.
From the morning, Abby, just from the morning. She made it in the morning. By the time she got to the venue, it spoiled. The smell was just smelling everywhere.
So, you know, we got married in East Sussex. So she's clearly had to make a trip with this food. I don't know what the process was. I don't know when she cooked it. I don't know what she did. But this woman, by all measures, is a professional. Right?
We went. Is a professional.
We went to her kitchen now. We did tasting. You know, it was like this is one of those areas that we spent money. She showed up, and she just had to apologize that, sorry, the fried rice has spoiled. She threw it away. Did we get any money back? No.
Of course not.
Did we eat fried rice? No. As far as I'm concerned, Nigerian fried rice is a waste of resources. We should export all of our ingredients to Chinese people and let them show us how to make it. As of this night, I had a Chinese fried rice. Nigerian fried rice has not touched my mouth this year. Please.
Okay,
don't ever ask that word again. Don't ever ask that word again.
You know, it's true. Nigerian fried. I don't understand something that can spoil that quick. But to be fair, if you are a chef, you should know that the secret to making your fried rice not spoil between your house and the pie that you're going to is cracking open the lid. It's the moisture. It's got vegetable inside. You crack open the lid, let the steam, let the air be evaporating. Let the but she didn't know that, then she's not.
Well, I mean, she must have known that. I mean, we all know that in our house, but in terms of transporting it, I don't know what that process is like. I don't know what it's like trying to transport fried rice, but clearly fried rice decided between London and East Sussex that, do you know what? This one no go agree. I no go agree.
A mind of its own. That's true.
And that's why I can't rock with it. And the taste is just not even worth. After all of that, it's not even worth it. If you go to the takeaway, they'll charge you more for the fried rice. And it's not even as tasty as the jollof.
But do you know what it is inside the Chinese jollof? Is the Chinese fried rice that you're enjoying? It's just the oil that you're enjoying. Chinese fried rice is Nigerian fried rice with oil, sesame seed oil.
Most probably, you're most probably right. But if sesame seed oil is what we need in Nigeria, then let's trade the crude oil for that, because we need to fix our fried rice. It's a matter of national emergency.
Nigerians can't even talk about oil, because the fact that we are exporting our oil to be refined and then bringing it back to Nigeria is very, very stupid.
You see?
How much money do you have? I have a couple pounds. Can we build a refinery? Let's build small refinery to refine the oil that we have in Nigeria.
We need to do a collection on this Friday night vigil to purchase a refinery, because it is absolutely disgraceful, and I think the lack of oil is the reason why our fried rice is suffering. I think, do you know that? But Dangote is building one, so
good.
The whole other side. You know, the other side of Lekki in Lagos. Like basically, that end is gonna become like the new hub. So I think they're gonna build another airport on that side, so rich people don't have to drive through poor areas. Yeah, they don't have to drive through the ghetto. They can just fly into the other airport, and I think the refinery is going to be on that side. Then obviously there's going to need to be accommodation for the oil workers and all the middle management, and it's going to bring, obviously food restaurants and so on and so forth. So I think it's going to be a hub on that side.
Let's go.
I'll see you there, my sister. I'll see you there.
Pack your wife and your children. Let's go and change our life.
Be going. I'm behind you. I'm following you. Be going. Be going. The last point. Thank you for that question. Though it was actually I clearly had some unresolved issues with Nigerian fried rice to get off my chest.
That's definitely some trauma there that you need to work through, babes.
I'm bringing that up with my counselor, my therapist, at our next session. The last thing was what is the role of porn in marital sex? You're not married, but you can obviously speak on an opinion side.
I mean, I can speak on a plethora of things because that's how wise I am. No, I'm not joking, but let me say I'm joking just for people should be telling me to reduce my ego, my pride and my ego a little bit. What's my view on the role of porn within marriage? From general conversations that I've had with people who have a history of porn, whether it's prior to marriage, in marriage, most of the things that they say is that porn gives you a false perception of what a sex is supposed to be like, right? Yep. It's supposed to be instantly, immediately self-gratifying, and that's not what sex is like in marriage. It's not what sex is designed to be in marriage. So because of that, it will distort and affect the way that you have intimacy with your spouse. Also, apart from that, one of the things that I hear them say a lot is that it gives you a false expectation on what you're supposed to be experiencing within your marriage, and that can build up resentment and therefore serious issues within the relationship. I don't know. I think I'm key to know about it from a more female perspective, because I have this conversation a lot, or I hear the conversation a lot talked about with men circles. I don't often hear what it's like from a female perspective. So a female who struggled with porn prior to entering into marriage, that for me would be a very, very eye-opening thing, because I actually don't know the female perspective. I know the male perspective very well because guys talk about it all the time. But the female perspective, I don't necessarily know. I don't know really. I think I've never dabbled in porn, but I think if I was to, one of the things that I probably would have an issue with when I get married is just what I'm expecting and how that differs from reality being an issue. But that's
can we be real for a second though?
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, and I add another point.
Okay, go for it before I get into.
And another thing that I wanted to say, and I think I've said this before on one of the Sunday services, is that porn isn't just Blu-ray movies and the Pornhubs and those whatever websites. Porn is also, for me, like I feel like what's that show that was on TV? Begins with E. Not Power, Power, and the other one.
Empire.
I feel like Empire was borderline porn, right?
Yeah,
I feel like there are certain movies that you can watch. There are certain series that you can watch that is literally just borderline. Like, it's borderline porn. So let us not ultimately stigmatize people who do pay-per-view or Pornhub or whatever and say that they have an issue with porn. If you only watch movies that's got sex scenes, if you enjoy movies that's got sex scenes in it, then you probably should be very, very careful about your porn appetite as well, or your sexual appetite. So that's something that I wanted to add in there. It's not just about people who have a specific desire to go and search out porn, but it's those people who enjoy porn or soft porn in movies and programs and stuff like that. But yeah, sorry, go on.
And even to further buttress your point, I was actually going to say that even though it's not exactly the same, it does the same process as women who go and look at those 17 times Harry fixed Meghan's hair kind of articles. Because what they're now going to do when they go into marriage is they're going to look at a very real man in front of them and be like, why isn't he fixing my hair every day? This man must not love me. And the unrealistic expectation is built up by taking in the images consistently and believing that this is no longer just a compiled version of times that are probably spread out over a couple of years, and you're now condensing it into now and expecting it all now, or expecting this guy to be the same as that guy, or building up this vision of what you think love is supposed to look like without any real experience of it. And so there are ways in which women aren't necessarily watching hardcore porn, but they're watching like romance porn, or they're watching what's it called, like I don't know what to even term it, but whenever you see all these videos about women like getting bought Birkin bags and cars and stuff, and then you're sitting next to your real life husband here who isn't doing it for the gram, and and he hasn't bought you a Birkin bag yet, you might get a really warped version of what reality looks like and what kind of gifts you're supposed to be getting, and what love really looks like. So I think on that side. But the point I was going to make about porn is that if we're honest with ourselves, we say don't watch porn, but we also just kind of like just leave couples to go figure out sex. Without porn, how does anybody know what blowjob is? How does anybody know what doggy style is? If not for porn. Because they didn't do it, they didn't cover it in Sunday school. So when they say
unless you go to a Ghanaian church.
Wow.
I'm tired of seeing these Ghanaian preachers talk about sex on the pulpit. What is your problem? You have the whole Bible to discuss. In every way you can discuss it, from the left to the right, from inside and outside. But you would take Sunday morning service to come and be talking about sucking your wife's breast. Can you relax? What's wrong with that? I do not understand.
Why not? Why not? This is clearly
not for Sunday morning encouragement, edification. I feel like that's for midweek service.
Okay, then fair play. So that was for midweek service, or maybe for the Friday night vigil. Now we're here.
Friday night vigil. That's for midweek service. That's not for Sunday morning. You know, when you have strangers walking on the road, when you're doing televised Facebook, Instagram, YouTube for the whole world to see. You're talking about how. Anyway, that's not.
To be fair, I've seen those videos. And I know definitely one of them, it looked like he was a pastor, but he wasn't actually a pastor. He was just in a building that looked like a church. And he speaks on these issues. But anyway, that's not the point. If we're saying, you know, porn is destructive, how does anybody know what they're supposed to be doing?
I don't feel like porn is the only way in which we can learn how to be sexually intimate with our spouse. And I don't think that God intended. First of all, God didn't intend. Let me not say God didn't intend for sex to be televised, because I don't really know if he did or he didn't. Yeah, but right. I'm gonna lean towards he didn't. But I really feel like Adam and Eve neither did Abraham and Sarah. I don't think they needed a video in order for them to know how to get down with the get down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really feel like when God created sex, and he created males and females and gave them the innate ability to please each other and learn how to please each other, I don't think it was a case whereby we needed an instructional manual for that. You know what I mean? I don't think that the only way that I know how to the only way I know how to kiss or to grind on my man or to do whatever it is that I need to do is because I've watched it on TV. I think that when to become one, there is a way in which that our bodies will respond. And as we worship God together, which I'm really looking forward to doing, and as we worship God together in that specific union, you know, God will bring us together as one, and we will learn and develop and know how to please each other, because we are both receptive beings. If I've never watched TV in my life, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to know how to have sex with my husband. I feel like it's a false understanding that we need some kind of videographic evidence or videographic, whatever the term is, in order to know how to be intimate. I think that's crazy, because before TV went into, what were they doing?
I mean, to be honest, it seems from what I'm constantly hearing that before then, women weren't having orgasms.
See how many healthy children that there are in this world. Yeah, and I'm not saying that. It's not saying that's only orgasm. To be fair, orgasms for women is a sticky topic, because every time I speak to women,
topic, huh? Okay, that's what we call it now, sticky topic. Okay.
Every time we have this conversation, it is difficult. A lot of women struggle. So, wait, should I blame men or should I blame women? Wait, let me think of who I want to blame.
Wow, you're even taking time to consider this time. Okay. Well.
Whose fault is it? Is it? I'm going to lean 70% towards the men, 30% towards the women. Maybe I can even reduce it to 60-40. Because I would say women should have a better, should have more confidence and the ability to be able to say what we feel like is pleasing us and what's not pleasing us. However, I don't think that we feel safe enough to be able to guide our spouses in that particular way. I don't think women will feel, I feel like because we're so busy protecting your ego and respecting you and honoring you and not trying to make out like we're hoes, right? And still be sexually pure and seem very innocent and delicate. For a woman to say, babe, you know, I would prefer you do it like that. The man will now come and get one chip and place it on the left shoulder. And I think that's a bit of an issue. I don't think men make women feel like they can be directed and led and given instruction and told. I don't think men like to hear, sorry, you just didn't do it for me, or I didn't have an orgasm. I think there are some guys who are intentional at making sure that their girl gets it first. But all men, we appreciate you, we love you, we'll see you at the top. Yeah, for those men who make sure that their girl gets it first, great. But the majority of men are not like that, from what I've heard, because I'm an angel and I'm a saint. And
I was about to even say, how do you know what the majority of men are like? Tina, Pastor Tina.
A saint. Listen, me, I'm in Bible study. I'm in church 8 days of the week, please. Yeah, but from what I've heard and the conversations that I've had, and you know, men don't necessarily make women feel like they can do that.
I would say two things. One, women often these days don't know how to speak to men, or don't feel like they should have to speak to men with honor and respect, and so that's why they're not able to say it. There's a way you can say almost anything to a man if you understand men. I pull men up all the time. I went on 3 shots of tequila and basically told all of these guys that they're wasting their time. But I said it in a way that we all laughed and we all left there on good terms, and everybody said that was a good discussion. There's a way you could have walked onto that podcast and spoken to them about what they're doing that left you in a position where they were dejected or rejected you or blah, blah, blah. So it's about learning how to speak to men. Just in the same way women require men to learn how to speak to them, require us to go through all of these assault course trainings of how to bring things up and when to say things and what tone of voice to use and so on and so forth. The same goes for you. That's just one point anyway. But the second point is, you know, a lot of what we know now about women's pleasure and sex has been stuff that we've kind of learned via secular means.
Do you think you would have learnt it without secular means?
I don't know. One will never know. One will never know because unfortunately the tainting happens so early. But what I will say is that from accounts and what I've read about times before the wide proliferation of porn and some of the more later discoveries in the women's magazines and blah blah blah, is that, you know, there were real societies that really felt like a woman's orgasm was either non-existent or evil. You know, there are cultures that engaged in female circumcision and removed the clitoris. Yeah. There were societies, there was a time where an orgasm was prescribed by a doctor as a cure for hysteria. And so, you know...
All doctors should be doing that.
Wow. Okay then. That's what the NHS budget's going on, yeah? Okay.
It needs to go on something. It's obviously not going where it's supposed to go. You know what I mean? It needs to go on something.
But what I'm getting at is that clearly there's been some what we now know to be backward views on what sex for women looks like. So the idea that we can figure it out ourselves is maybe not true. Maybe we did need some instruction and some guidance. I'm not saying porn should be the guidance. I'm just saying that there's a gap of righteous places to learn how to please your wife. And, you know, this kind of approach of don't talk to girls, don't talk to boys, go to university, get your degree, where's your husband, where's your baby, doesn't actually leave much guidance. It leaves you kind of out there in the streets figuring it out. And so you end up taking it from the same sources as everyone else. And every day porn is advertising itself to you and going, look, let me show you what great sex looks like. And we're saying, you know, it's destructive and it's not real. But how do we know what real sex is? How do we ever get a good sort of baseline on that ever again, because now it's kind of commonplace and it's all kind of mishmashed in with sex today, that there are blowjobs and there's backdoor, there's, you know, this is what foreplay looks like, and blah blah blah. All of this stuff is highly characterized by porn.
Yeah. I mean, I
So-
agree. I've always said that I find it really strange. I find it really strange, especially as a church girl. I find it really strange that we are taught and told to suppress every sexual desire or urge or conversation our entire lives. And then the moment we get married, we're supposed to be able to bust it wide open and please our husbands. I think it's such a fallacy, and I would never understand where that came from. Do you know what I mean? Like, and also to be, not only to bust it wide open, but to feel confident and comfortable with your spouse and not be scared or worried or anxious. I mean, you can be anxious, but not to be scared or worried. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a grave issue within the church that we do not have these conversations. We don't have conversations that enable us to understand what sexuality actually is, you know, and to not necessarily to be sexually free, because that's made up, but just to understand what sexuality is, right? Just to understand, you know, the things that your body feels and why it might feel it and when it might feel it, to know what is a good response and what is a bad response. Do you know what I mean? To be able to understand what some of the things that men feel and see. Like, one of the things that I would love, right, is if we're having this training within the church confines, is to have, obviously it's going to be more a female teacher and the female, and, you know, the single women, and then the single guys, and then a married man. Sometimes the leaders should swap. You know, the men should go into the women's section and be like, okay, this is what husbands like, right? The woman should go into the guys session and be like, this is what women like. Swap the leaders, because one of the things that you're not going to come and tell me is, oh, this is how I please my husband, and okay, that's your husband, babes, yeah. But we want to know general consensus from all the men, because we're not all going to smash your husband. So let your husband come and tell us what him and the brothers are talking about. That's what we want to hear. You know what I mean? We want to hear what the man them were talking about, not just, you know, you make his food, you want his day, and then you in deny, you'll now be like, my king, my lord. No. No. That's not
Them
what
auntie bars right there.
you know, like
That's
like,
hilarious.
yeah. So I definitely feel like we definitely need to have more conversation. I think, first of all, before we even blame the church, it's our parents. I think it starts from home.
Yeah.
Have these conversations with our children so that they are not. Let me not say it's my biggest fear before it comes upon me, so God forbid, yeah. But one of the things that I don't want is for Levi, my son, to seek most of his sexual education from the streets, or from TV or from YouTube. I would prefer him to have that conversation with me or his father, right? I want 90% of everything he knows about various things, apart from trigonometry and osmosis Jones, yeah, to come from home. Things that the school's supposed to teach him, school can teach him. So I think that's one of the things that we definitely need to do as a community, because once we start to do that, we reduce the appetite people have for pornography and external stimuli, if we've already been given a very non-biased, non-emotional discussion with people who we know and trust.
I hear you, and I agree with you. I hear you, and I agree with you. I think it's a tough one, because, you know, they try and do their PHSE at school and they give you some basics, and there's agendas and stuff that they have to adhere to in terms of how they teach things. And then, you know, I think there's some inherited dysfunctions within families that mean they don't always, not every dad or married man is a skilled Jedi who can now pass on to the young grasshopper all the wisdom of the world. And also there is just the element of, you know, learning each woman's body and the different things that they may like. And, you know, people go out and get so much experience these days before they even make it to the marriage bed, that they've, you know, picked up a whole bunch of experiences that could have either ruined them or, you know, steered them a different way, or whatever it is. Like, just experiences mold them. And so
But this
either
is the
way,
thing. Sorry to cut you, but this is the thing. Not to be overly religious, but that's what I be doing, right? When we do things, when we do things in the way that God had intended, that whole exploratory process, that whole exploring a female's body, exploring a male's body, understanding, what it does, how it does it, it's supposed to be enjoyed with your spouse. When we do things God's way, God wasn't just saying, okay, be like, oh yeah, why did God make us sexual beings and then just tell us it can only be one person? Because babe, it bangs with that person that you're supposed to have it with. It's not supposed to be for everybody. It's supposed to be for that one person that God has designed for you to be with. And when you do it in that way, you reduce all of these things that you just spoken about, the damages that can incur, the false belief of what's supposed to be pleasing, what's not pleasing, the sexual emotional ties, all of these different things, diseases, unwanted pregnancies, all of the issues that we have surrounding sex would have been completely eliminated if everybody had just done things God's way. And one of the things that I would implore more people to have, even if you don't want to look at it from a religious standpoint, just look at it from a humanist perspective, right? And be like, okay, let me treasure and value my body. As all of you new age people talk about how pure and how amazing your bodies are, and you'll be waving sage in your nostrils and in your ear, and you'll be putting crystals all over your body, tiny around your necklace, around your wrist, everything is shungai and crystals. Yeah, this body that you so value, why this body that you so value, why do you think that you're supposed to share it with everybody? Shouldn't you want to share it with the person who has the same shungite levels as you have, whatever the case may be? Now I'm taking the mic, right? But shouldn't you want to share it with the person who is wholly deserving of your entire being? Not just your physical body, somebody who's wholly deserving of your entire being. So not just your physicals, but your emotional, your mental, your spiritual state. If you are as spiritual as you claim to be, all you horoscope warriors, then you should want to make sure that the person that you give yourself to meets all of those requirements, not just the physical aspects. That in and of itself is, if you want to take out, if you don't even want to mention God, because I know that when we mention God, you cry. Think about it from that particular perspective. Let it be with that one person that that it will be euphoric with, because everything else is catered for in as who you are as a person, and not just your physical urges, because they come and they go.
But people are genuinely scared though that, because you make the commitment before you find out that you can make the commitment and it isn't euphoric, and that's that. I understand that concern in today's world, because the idea is that it's a performance and they might not be a good performer. And Christian couples, there are real Christian couples having real problems with sex. We can't pretend that like, oh, everybody's just having amazing sex once they get married. People still need help. I just think in many ways we don't have an official source of knowledge and wisdom other than the Holy Spirit, and I don't think a lot of us are tapping into the Holy Spirit for this. Yeah, for this kind of thing.
Maybe you should become a sex counselor for married couples. Therapist. Therapist is actually a real thing.
I know. I would happily do that once I had the wisdom and knowledge myself.
Let me find one Udemy Open University course. Let me find one.
You're a bad person. How can you put me on Udemy trying to learn how to? But there are Christian people out there talking about sex and so on. But I kind of, it would be good to kind of get into some of the more nitty gritties, not just this is what the Bible says about sex, but more of like a revelatory approach, in the sense of in the field, real sort of hands-on, I guess is the best word I can think of. But not real hands-on, but like more hands-on wisdom as opposed to theoretical wisdom, more practical wisdom on these kind of matters.
As in like head down, booty popping. fully popping on a handstand. Is that what you're talking
Every
about?
time you sing that, I'm like, how do you know this song, Tina? How do you know this song?
When I tell people that that's
You
actually
said
one
you
of my
did.
favorite songs.
You said you did dabble in porn. That music video was porn.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true.
Yes, it was. It was on Triple X U or whatever it was, or
Yeah, Triple
or
X and MTV After Dark.
You know both of them. Tina. Oh my goodness! You know Triple X U and MTV Base After Dark. Oh my
It was
goodness!
just for research purposes, so that my future husband can be well taken care of.
That's the church girl's excuse for everything. Here, there, see that. Ah man, see, we all got raised by the streets. Look at this.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's getting to like 1 a.m. and you still rocking with me. I appreciate that, man. I'm gonna let you go, because if not, there's a son out there who's gonna be looking for his mother in the morning, and if you're still sleeping.
I'm actually looking forward to this weekend. I'm celebrating. I was taking a leaf out of your book, and I started writing today my 10 lessons in 10 years of mothering to celebrate Mother's Day. It's my 10th Mother's Day.
Okay.
And it feels very strange to say that. Like, because me, I'm still a small girl, baby girl for life, teen baby girl for life. I'm still a small girl. Why are you looking at me like that? Anyway, I'm still a small girl. But I've been in these parenting streets for 10 whole years and my son hasn't died. So, to God be the glory. So I was coming up with 10. I'm really looking forward. I don't usually make a big deal out of Mother's Day because it's just what it is. But this year I feel particularly warm towards it. So
fantastic.
So yeah, let me go to bed, child, because he will be looking at me in the morning.
Indeed.
No mental just be opening your eye like this.
Happy Mother's Day in advance, sis. Well done.
Thank you.
God will continue to lift your hand. All right. Peace.
Good night, everyone.
Goodbye. Good night. All right, guys. Yo, it's been real, man. That was a good conversation. That was a great conversation. Great to have you on, Tina. We've spoken about a lot, and yes, if you know me, there's plenty of discussion to be had. We could definitely keep going, but I want to keep it to the point where you still want more. Hopefully. Shout out to everybody still rocking with me right now. There's a consistent number of you staying till 1 a.m. Come on. Really on this late night vibe, and I love it. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. Go bless Tina and her Cash App, say Happy Mother's Day or whatever. Give her an encouraging word on her Insta. Shout out to all the mums. Happy Mother's Day for this Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums and all the mums to be and all the women who could be mums one day. Shout out you lot. Alright, we're going to wrap this up. Make sure that you are following me on social media platforms. Make sure that if you want to support what we're doing financially, you hit the Patreon up. That's patreon.com/olathecomedian. From as little as £3 a month, you can support the vibe. I'm just a dad who waits for his kids to go to sleep so he can talk in this dark room, in his little man cave, and do content. They took away stand-up, y'all. Two hours in this joint. Still coming with visuals, still coming with audio. Still coming with second angles and that. I think next week we might try and add some sound effects. That might be a bit of fun. Either way, the show's only going to keep getting better and better. I love when you guys get involved, by the way. I love when you get involved. Shout out to Tina again for jumping on. Shout out to Iron Moore again for the track Lay Back, the theme song of Friday Night Vigil at the moment. I'm going to hit Lay Back and we're going to lay back. We're going to go to bed. Have a good night, people. Make sure you're hitting me up. Talk to me about the show. Your interaction is dope. Thank you, Tina. I'm glad you liked the second angle. Let me hit the second angle real quick again. If you look closely in the top right, you'll see my poster from my Edinburgh Fringe Festival run, where I did the show The Comedian and His Future Wife. If you look to the left, you'll see my bookcase. It has very few books on it, mostly DVDs. But this is what my setup looks like, man. This is my studio right here. This is where the magic is made. Okay, I'm really stalling now because I actually really enjoy talking to you guys. You guys have been really quiet in the comments, by the way. You haven't really spoken back to me, but that's not a problem. Just interact with me whenever you can, whether it's after this or next week or in the DMs or on the Instagram stories, whichever way. Let's keep up the good work. Let's keep doing what we do. Let's keep pushing the game forward. Let's keep upping the vibes. Let's keep building the congregation, keep saying hello to each other, keep being nice to each other. Let's keep being the changes we want to see in the world. And on that note, good night. I ain't seen no good nights from you lot in the chat, by the way. Do you guys have home training? No manners.